Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Morning, evening, afternoon, however, wherever it is that you are, I hope it's good. I want to talk about childhood crime today, the childhood crimes that I was involved in. And the reason why is because whenever I speak about my life and I talk about crime, I tend to gloss over large chunks of things. And it's not because I mean to, it's because I committed a lot of crime uh, constantly. From like the age of 13, I was basically a professional criminal. This is if I wanted something, this is how I got it. I took it, stole it, sold drugs for it, extorted someone for it, whatever. Whatever you could do, just take advantage of the situation. Take advantage of whatever situations present themselves around you to exploit the world for stuff, right? Block monster shit. uh, you don't really this is where the origin whenever they talk about like block monsters, these are people who live off of the block. I've done this. You just live. This is our block. Whatever happens here, we need some of it, right? I got to eat on my block. You're not going to be on my block, right? But if you but that's what allows everything. That's the power structure that allows everything to be good. But that's jumping way ahead of things. So whenever I was very young, I began stealing liquor, liquor in Dickie shorts in California, and you could steal liquor from anywhere out there. Liquor is pretty much in every store, so you can go find the stores that don't have good security. Not every store is going to have good security, of course, and just hit those for liquor bottles. I would trade them to the weed man for weed, a little bit of money. Maybe give me like I give him like two bottles or something like that. He'd give me like a fat dime of weed, like $5 or something. Um, so that was basically how it started. That and stealing clothes. I wanted nice clothes. I couldn't afford nice clothes. When I got to junior high, I noticed all of a sudden people started noticing brands, Nike and Reebok and shit like that. And it didn't even, never even dawned on me before that. Everybody was poor that I grew up around in elementary. Pretty much all my friends were, so it wasn't really a big thing. We were all in the same boat. Everybody was poor. When I got to junior high, they took elementary schools from all over the city and put them together in the junior high. And then it was like, oh, okay, I'm fucking poor. So then it was like, well, I know, like I said, I already knew, I already had the mindset that I just take whatever the fuck I want anyway. That was my mindset. So whenever I got to junior high and I seen these people had Fila was real big at the time. Fila was huge. Fila, Adidas, Nikes, all this shit. And that's what you needed to be cool to be in. You know what I mean? So I said, well, I know where that shit's at. That shit's at J.C. Penney's. That shit's at Mervin's. You know what I mean? That shit's at Dillard's. I know where the fuck it is. So I start hitting for clothes. And then once people realized that I was good at hitting for clothes, this ingratiated me with a lot of the older gangbangers and shit like this. You know what I mean? They wanted me around. Like from young, I was doing this. I'm describing like 12, 13 years old is the hustles that I'm describing right now. This is pretty much going to be in chronological order. So this is 12, 13 years old. I'm stealing Nikes, Reeboks, Filas, lots of t-shirts, uh, lots of like not a lot of pants. I wasn't independent. You can only take so many pants at the same time. Pants are big and bulky, you know. But so I do that for a while. Oktoberfest, I steal a woman's purse. Um, so this is what I do, right? You know how the booths are set up at Oktoberfest. Okay, remember this. If you ever have a booth at Oktoberfest or any festival or anything like that, if you're running a booth, well, imagine that two booths are set up next to each other, right next to each other. Boom, right? Well, there's nothing that tells one booth that communicates to one booth what's going to be the back of their booth and what's going to be the front of this booth, right? So whenever I went into this booth, what I noticed was this woman had took all of her money and she had it in this back corner, like the far right corner is what I would consider it, right? If I was looking straight at it, the far right corner, right? Okay, well, there's all kinds of security and you're not supposed to be back in that area, her booth or whatever. Fair enough, right? I said, okay, fine. I guess that's a dead issue. I go to the next booth, and the same corresponding corner, which would be the left, right, the back left corner that lines up with exactly where this woman's purse is, there's no security at all. There's just a bunch of stupid vases and like dumb shit. You know what I mean? And it's not really like in the way. Not a bunch of shit that's in the way. So I pulled out the knife, walked over there, slit through one. I slit through the first one. Excuse me. Let me get some. I slit through the first. What are they called? What the fuck am I talking about? The tents at Oktoberfest. Tents. That's what they would be called. Stands, tents, whatever the fuck. So I cut through one, cut through the other one, reached through, and I just grabbed the woman's whole fanny pack. It was a fanny pack full of money. I swear to God, there was like 5 inches worth of fucking money in there. But it was only $300. However the fuck that worked out, it was exactly $300. But it was a huge... I thought I hit. Whenever I fucking grabbed that, I swear to God, I thought I was fucking clean, dog. It was $300. Whatever, I'll take it. It's a good hit. It's like 95. It's a good hit, right? So I take that shit and I'm gone. So we go run around, kicking it with the homies. I bought like a 1/4 ounce of weed, blowing, you know what I mean? We're getting fucked up. We're partying, having a good time. We got some bitches over, just chilling, you know what I mean? Some Sereno bitches, I remember. They looked like fucking... They were way too much makeup, like white girls with way too much fucking... One of them was a white girl, one of them was a Mexican, but both of them had way too much fucking makeup on. But they were putting out, though. They were getting... The big girl got fucked up. But... okay, so where do we go from there? Oh, so I end up getting busted for that motherfucker. And I've told the story about that. That's how I ended up, whenever they ended up getting me the first 45 days in juvenile hall. I got busted simply because I was the only fucking white dude running around with an afro. I basically got racially profiled, right? And you couldn't... there was nobody else like me running around committing these fucking crimes. Fat white dude with an afro running around the fucking ghetto. You know what I mean? So, I end up in juvenile hall. That's not really, that's here nor there. Let's see. Then, what do we got? So then, whenever my crimes really pick up again, I get here to Denver. I start kicking it with the homies like right away. We're gangbanging and shit like that, gangbanging, getting high, selling a little bit of dope. Not much though, not really hustling. We're still kind of like, I've got that hustler mindset, but I hadn't gotten my feet positioned here, and we lived in a really bad neighborhood. And it's hard to steal in really bad neighborhoods, and we didn't have a car because we were still really young. In California, I could get to the nicer neighborhoods where the security wasn't that bad in the stores. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could, on my bike, I could just ride my bike to a place where there wasn't that. Where I was living in Denver, in Westwood, I didn't even have a bike, and it was miles to the... I mean, I guess I could have took the bus. I didn't really want to, though. I didn't know it like I knew California. California was different. I was good on my bike, you know what I mean? So I never really tried to know Denver here like that. We were on the bus a lot, but within a couple years, we were doing other stuff. So we get a job at Dairy Queen. Me and my ace deuce, SD, Sonny, get a job. This is the one that what's called Dog the Bounty Hunter offered him $5,000 for me and told him fuck off. So we get jobs at Dairy Queen, and it's run by this like a Persian dude named Taraj. And one day, on accident, Taraj or somebody left the safe open. And whenever he left the safe open, Sonny happened to notice that the safe had been left open, and he took the whole bag, the whole day's drop. It was a couple $100. And he comes back, and he tells me, he says, "Look, fool," and he rips open the bag and shows it to me. I said, "Damn, fool. It's got all the receipts in it and shit." It's like, all right, cool. So now we know, that tells me this is how my criminal mind works. As soon as I see that, that tells me they're sloppy. Right? This happens within the first couple of weeks, and that tells me they're sloppy, that things are sloppy at the place right away. And nobody says nothing about it. Like within a couple days, nobody mentions nothing. We keep going back to work. Everything's business as usual. Nobody mentions a fucking word, right? So that right there tells me that something's wrong. And then I forget what happened, but I think this is what happened. Sonny took $40 out of the register one day, and so they knew that the $40 was missing from the register, but he was the one working the register. I wasn't the one working the register, and they were convinced that I had took it for some reason. I don't know why. They basically like openly, like the Persians. You know, if you've ever worked for a foreigner, they tend not to be as hesitant or polite. They'll openly be like, "Motherfucker, I think you did something." They don't. They don't pull punches like we do in America. They don't pull as many punches, put it that way, especially whenever it comes to their business. This is why you see so many viral videos of Asians getting at people. Understand that, like, if you go into an Asian business and try to take their stuff, they'll come after you, all of them. And they'll come after you with weapons, and they come vicious, deep. I've seen them chase my homies. Young Sport Mart on Alameda and Federal, I've seen them chase the homies for blocks, and them fools got wind because them Chinese people, or I don't know if they're Vietnamese, I think they're Vietnamese, they got wind, homie, they're in shape. The motherfuckers are thin and they're small, so they're not. It's not hard on their joints, man. They got good springs in their legs. Put it that way, and they can run, dude. They will run you down for their stuff. If you've got their stuff, they will run you the fuck down. So that's something to remember too. Don't go. Don't fuck with the Asians. Leave the Asian-owned stores alone. Put it that way. Leave foreign-owned stores alone. They fight for their shit, and they should. You should. Okay, so we're stealing from there, doing our thing. The relationship is clearly going downhill with me and this dude at Taraj. Sonny jumped ship. He turned 16. Right next to, this is in Cherry Creek, Colorado. No, it's in Glendale, Colorado. Okay, right next to the Dairy Queen, was an MCI, right? MCI used to be a telecom corporation like AT&T or any of these. Okay, so as soon as you became 16, they would allow you to go get a job at MCI WorldCom, right? So Sonny turned 16 ahead of me. He's born in September. I'm born in April. So he turned 16 ahead of me. He's gone, right? Now I'm left here with this place where he's been stealing out the register. They think it's me. We've steadily been doing this. We've been stealing from them the whole time. We kept doing the same type of stuff. Anytime I caught them slipping, I was getting them. If they left the register open, if they left the safe open, whatever. Okay, so he jumps ship, gets a job at MCI. Within like maybe a month or so, I lose the job. I'm not even really caring about it anymore. Like I said, the relationship had been soured, and I was just robbing and blinding him. So Sonny gets a job at MCI WorldCom, and he says, "Well, check it out. This is what happened. He went to California." And he had saved like $300 to go to California. His family had given him some money, and he had saved up some money. And he went to California thinking, okay, I'll have some cash to like spend there. And whenever he got there, they would, like, everything was on the house. They wouldn't let him spend any money for anything he wanted. He was just taken care of. So he came back with like $300, right? And we had been working. We had a little bit of money. So what we did was we went and bought like 2 ounces. We started with like 2 ounces of weed. Had the homegirl Angie B from Bloods put us on, and I think we paid $60 an ounce for like some swag or something like that, and I fucking dimed all that shit up. And he was working at MCI, and I was heading downtown and selling dimes and nickels in the fucking park all day, right? So we blew up off that fucking $300. Like, we fucking blew up. I don't know why, but we had a connection. Angie B was connecting us from Bloods. This woman was connecting us, and right whenever she was connecting us, they were running out downtown for some reason. There was a drought happening for some reason. It was just like a perfect storm of me having a whole bunch of weed, and we made. I mean, within a month to 2 months, I would say, we had like $2 or $3 grand stacked. And all our money was pooled together. We talked his aunt was this old biker chick, and we talked her into renting us an apartment because we had the money. It was $600 a month, $600 deposit. It was on 14th and Kendall, and the Lamar Kendall apartments on 14th and Kendall. They're still there. I ended up getting put on my hood there. That's where I got put on my hood. So what do they do? So she rents us the apartment. And we move in. Now, Sonny's working there, and I'm just pretty much selling dope, like full-time selling dope. Sometimes hitting houses if you come up on a good lick or whatever. Just hitting stuff. So one day, Sonny ain't been getting a couple sales for a couple days. I said, man, I need to get these sales. And if you know anything about telemarketing, it's not good whenever you're not getting sales. They start coming down on you pretty hard, like pretty quick if you're fucking up. I said, okay, well, I said back then, you could call somebody at a payphone, at a normal payphone. I could just give you the number to a payphone and be like, call me at 5:30, and then I could just be at that payphone at 5:30, and you could call me and it'd be okay, right? So I thought I wasn't recording for a second. I was like, are you fucking serious? But no, it's got the thing down there. We're at 16 and a half minutes. So I says, well, I'm going to go down here to this payphone. I'm going to send you the number. Call me on the payphone and we'll set up a sale, right? You know what I mean? Okay, cool. Hey, so this fool sets up a pretty decent sized sale, right? Not just one line, like a couple lines with some long distance and some shit like that. And it goes through. And that's all we needed to know, right? And that's all we needed to know, and the scam's on. So now he's going to work, and I'm bouncing from payphone to payphone around the city, hooking up long distance lines on different payphones around the city. This fool is making okay, so if you would hit 100% of commission, you get maybe a $350 bonus, right? Every week. This is paid weekly. We were making $9 an hour. That's what he was making. $9.25 an hour, base pay. So what is that? $300 a week or something like that. And then if you hit your goal, 100% of goal, which was 5 sales a week, maybe a sale a day or something like that. If you hit your goal, you get a $400 bonus, so $700 a week, right? But if you hit 200% of your goal, you get an $800 bonus. So now you'd be at $1,100, and if you hit 300% of your goal, you get a $1,500 bonus. So this fool's hitting, right? 200%, 300% every week, and for every 3 sales, for every 3 lines you hook up, they're giving you a $10 Amex, right? A $10 American Express traveler's check. So this fool's coming home with 2 or 3 $10 traveler's checks every day. So this is we've got literally there's just a stack of them on a fucking thing in the shelf. There's just a stack of fucking traveler's checks. And so then he starts winning awards because whenever you sell stuff like this, they give you stuff. These days they give you an iPad and shit like that. Hey, they take this fool to some shit called Club MCI, right? Club MCI is for the top salesmen in the country, right? Now, all of this is happening over a 7 or an 8 month fucking period. Our bookkeeping was horrible. And they were his paychecks. I don't know exactly we were just it was all thrown in together because this was my Jesus. This was my dude. And all our bills were the same and shit. And so I couldn't have told you. We both just ran through money. I couldn't tell you exactly how much we made or how much we took. But I know he got a trip out of the situation twice. He went to Club MCI twice in a row, which was this huge party where it was all expenses paid and all kinds of crazy shit. They paid for their hotel and their food and all this liquor. It's this big old huge party, and they're up on stage like celebrities. He had pictures of it and all kinds of shit, right? So So we're about 6-7 months into it, and you start seeing MCI WorldCom on the news being investigated for fraud, being investigated for whatever you could think of, all kinds of shit, all kinds of dirty shit. MCI was doing all kinds of dirty shit. It was corrupt from the bottom up. We were just the bottom rung. My homeboy SD's cousin was the one who got us the job. That fool just got popped for sexual harassment. He was fighting a sexual harassment thing whenever all of this corruption coming down from the top, whenever the feds, the SEC, I think, or maybe I don't remember, Security and Exchange Commission, I think that's telecom. I could be wrong on that. Don't hold me to that. But put it this way, MCI WorldCom was like AT&T 30 years ago. MCI WorldCom is nothing now because it was dissolved. And because that's how corrupt the situation was. We were doing this at 16. He was 15. I was 15 and he was 16. They were letting people work as telemarketers at 16 years old. And this is what we were doing. We had and this is how it was all the way up. So they start getting investigated. WorldCom starts getting investigated from the top down. And then the dude directly above us, the homeboy's cousin, is now hit for sexual harassment, and in the middle of all of that is whenever they realize that we've been scamming them too. They realized that the homie's been scamming them too. And they called the homie in and they said, listen, I know what you've been doing, and you're going to leave right now, and you're going to forget about your last paycheck, or we're just going to call the cops. What do you want to do? And the homie got up and just split and just walked out. And that was the end of that fucking scam. So this is 16 years old now. But we've built up a nice fucking nest egg, right? Of money. So this is whenever we really get serious about selling weed. And about this time, he gets his baby's mom pregnant, his first baby's mom pregnant. And she lived with us off and on. I believe she lived with us for a while there whenever she actually had the baby, but not as much as you would think. Like you would think that it would be his baby's mom. She just had a kid. And from what I can remember whenever we first got the place, that fool was dead set on not letting her know where the fuck the place was. His lady, he was like, we got to keep it a secret. And we were able to for a while. But once he got her pregnant, that fucked everything up. That fucked the bachelor pad situation up anyway. So, gets pregnant, has a kid. Now we're raising the kid. So now we gotta kind of even kick it up a notch. Selling a lot of dope at the time. I had really kicked up a lot of burglaries, a lot of shoplifting, especially all of our food. You know, I shoplifted pretty much all of our food. Grocery stores are really easy because I grew up stealing from them to eat, Safeways and shit like that. So I already knew how the security systems were set up and things of this nature. So let's see. Okay, so Dairy Queen, yeah, we did that. Clothes, yeah. Now I'm going to put this one in here too because it fits in with this whole class of crimes that I did. And pretty much after what I'm going to describe to you right now is whenever I kicked it up to like full throttle, big time, actual professional criminal shit. This is still little time stuff that I'm describing right now. And this is even after I had gone to prison. After I had gone to prison the first time, I got a job at Little Caesars. And I was working fucking Little Caesars, their register. I can do math like a motherfucker, and people will come in and you get to notice and what the change is every time. You get to see in the same numbers all the time. You know what shit costs. I can tell you what, I can even add up 2 or 3 pizzas and some crazy bread real quick in my head and tell you what it's going to cost. And then you say, oh, okay, well, here's the change, $2.56, and I can do the fucking shit in my head. My math is cold. Math is cold. There was a Subway too I was doing that at, that I was fucking working them, dude. I was working the fucking register, $200-$300 in a day. and the registered come out good. The registered come out balanced at the end of the day. That's how fucking fast I was with my hands and shit. So, MCI was one of the most corrupt fucking shits I've ever seen. There was so much drugs and so much cocaine. The homeboy's uncle worked there with us. My homeboy Sonny's uncle worked there with us, but that fool had like an old beater car, but it had a stick shift, so you had to push that motherfucker to start. So if we wanted to ride, we had to go like help him push start his car. You know what I mean? And it was kind of embarrassing, except for his uncle. His uncle was a ghetto motherfucker, but he was a Mac though. Like the bitches be laughing, they be laughing at his car, but he knocked both some bitches down though. I gotta be honest with you, he knocked almost all them bitches down. At one time or another, Uncle John knocked almost all of them down, dog. I swear to God he did. Nasty motherfucker. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. The homie's dead now. He died about a year ago. But that motherfucker, they all hated him, put it that way. He was one of those. They all hated him, all had something bad to say about him, all the females, but he knocked them all down. So, that motherfucker worked us a couple times too. Worked us out of a limo one time. He was a smooth fucking. That's where I learned. That's where I learned to be a scam artist, was from John Mondragon. That motherfucker worked it. He'll work you so cold in a fashion that you can't even blame him. You can't even point the finger at. I'm gonna tell the story. Fuck it. Let's just tell the fucking story. This is what this motherfucker did, right? He got us to pay. We're all working at MCI at the time, right? This is how cold. This is how scam artists work. Okay, this is a real fucking scam artist in action. Okay. And his brother is like a professional fucking scam artist, was a professional scam artist. Mark Mondragon scammed millions of fucking dollars, millions and millions of dollars. But so anyway, so this is what John does. He gets us to help him pay for this hotel at the Marriott, like a suite at the Marriott on like maybe the top floor, one of the close to the top floor, like fucking $600 a night or some shit like that. But this is 25 years ago or 20 years ago or some shit like that. So $600 a night suite. We pay for a limo, some other shit. We pay for all this shit, and he goes, okay, well, he said, this is what we're gonna do. He said, I'll be back. I'm gonna go grab these bitches. I'll meet you guys over there. You guys could just take the limo. So we get the limo, shoot over there. We get to partying. We're all young, homie. We get to partying. We're getting fucked up. We're fucking smoking weed. We're chilling. We even got some of our own bitches sitting there. Something, I think my allergies are getting me. That's why I keep doing that. I'm not a weirdo. My allergies are killing me right now. So I think that's what it is. Okay, so we're over there, we're gigging it up, and we're fucking smoking weed, and this is not whenever weed's legal, especially not for minors, and we're clearly minors. We're thugged out fucking gangbangers. Even working at fucking MCI was with a bunch of Bloods and Crips and fucking all kinds of shit. All kinds of gangbangers. We're in that motherfucker, pants sagging, you'd see rags, motherfuckers doing blow in the bathroom and shit. So we used to call it Many Criminals Incorporated. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was corrupt from the fucking bottom up, dude. And so I think that's why a lot of the telecom industry now has really a lot stricter regulations about who they will hire. So anyway, John's fucking ass. I know he did. Because we weren't being loud like that. They got 2 complaints like right away. Whenever John was on his way over, they had got 2 complaints right away that fucking about a noise coming from the place, that we were down here and that we were causing too much noise and all this other shit, and we weren't at all. I know he fucking called in that complaint because he fucking got us. So we get kicked out, and within like a half hour of us getting kicked out, this fool's in that motherfucker gigging like a motherfucker. He's got all these bitches in there. He knew, I swear he worked something. I don't know what the fuck he worked. I don't know how he worked it, but he got us to pay for this fucking hotel, this fucking limousine, and then I swear he got us fucking kicked out of it. I don't know how the fuck it happened. Couldn't tell you, but I know I got worked, and that's how you know that a scam artist is fucking good, because you can't prove it. I could never prove it, but I know he fucking did. I know he did. Because we weren't being loud. Nothing was being loud. That motherfucker. Anyway. So, I used to work a lot of registers like a motherfucker. A lot of registers. At 15 years old, the homie has his kid, so we really kicked up the stealing as far as that was concerned. And then that's whenever we really became kind of like serious drug dealers after that. From there until 18, I would say I was known as something of a drug dealer. Um, I became a serious drug dealer once I got to the pen and got out. That was a different story. Once I got to the pen and got out, it was a different story. You get a little bit of clout. People trust you. More people trust you. Things of this nature. Um, and so you get access to more. And then at different times, some people have. At different times, there's more drugs present in society. So sometimes it's not even a matter of like, oh, you know somebody, you don't know nobody. There's no fucking dope there. It was like that with cocaine for a while. There's just no cocaine. There was a bunch of fake weird shit that people would still buy. Some people would still buy, but most people would just complain. If you try to sell it like real cocaine addicts, they get pissed. They bring it back. Real cocaine addict, bring it back. So, uh, yeah. So I spent the rest of my childhood pretty much a lot of burglaries. Burglaries really hit too, especially whenever I started learning how to actually do them. You know what I mean? Like what to actually look for and not just run around and just randomly hitting shit, but like actually what to look for and shit like that. Burglary, you know what I mean? The burglary will net you a month's worth of fucking money. You'd be good for a month if you hit a good burglary. You know what I mean? So those are most, that's, I think the criminal hustles, a lot of acid, sold a lot of acid for a while there. Jail caps were a real big thing. But yeah, that's pretty much, that was my life as a criminal as a child. I probably need to do a separate one just about gangbanging, probably. So, thank you everybody for tuning in.